They've installed this sense of pride into the Western minds of people in reproduction, into the Western culture. It's the same kind of pride that they installed into the LGBTQ community. It's false pride. It's a pride with a purpose, a pride meant to control. They've turned it into an identity. Parenting has become an identity, no different than the LGBTQ community making themselves into alphabet identities. They're seeking some sense of meaning, purpose, structure in an empty world. And for those who cannot think for themselves, who have been conditioned to not be able to think for themselves, they will gravitate to whatever's easiest. It's easy to follow the crowd. It's easy to follow a color, a flag, a letter, an acronym, an identity. Chase the identity. Become that identity. It's false change, false growth. It's meant to represent this idea of evolution. People see it all the time. These kids haven't even developed their brains yet. They don't understand themselves. There's no solid sense of self. Yet when you have a child, now you are entrusted to become this evolved being, this wise old soul that's now entrusted to raise this new generation. No, they're still a child. They're the same person. They just now have something else on their plate, a new responsibility. And that identity that comes that they inhabit without even changing the slightest is only meant to be affecting people through the eyes of the people who are seeing those people, those parents. It becomes a crown. When they crown the mother and the father and the child as the pinnacle of society, there's nothing more you have to do other than just reproduce. This is why deadbeat dads, deadbeat mothers, it doesn't matter how bad they are, people have a certain level of respect for them simply because they reproduced. So this idea of creating broken reproduction is another form of depopulation. Make reproduction terrible. Make it this difficult. You can't even provide food, water, shelter, clothing, protection for yourself. How are you going to do it for a child? Depopulation program. They're not going to reproduce. They can't take care of themselves. They're not wise enough. They're not smart enough. They're not strong enough. The parents before them weren't smart enough, strong enough to combat the mind controls of that system. How are they going to be able to do what their parents weren't even able to do? These are systems that are banked upon by this program. It's meant to weaken the masses under the guise of making it stronger. Within a depopulation program, you don't necessarily have to depopulate the people. Another way to do it is just to allow these people to reproduce, but these individuals that they are reproducing are already dead. They will already be programmed to self-destruct at a very young age, especially with technology. So if they're programmed to self-destruct before they even graduate high school, did you really birth a descendant? Somebody that is going to be a threat to this system? Somebody that's going to protect that which you represent, your relationships to your culture, your land, your people? Are they going to do that? No. You can see this now with children who are born into traditional families who now have a choice to maintain the tradition or buy into the Western mindset. And you can only do that at the expense of your not Western traditions. So it's meant to weaken the individual because that choice that you have to make is not making you stronger. If you vest yourself into the Western mindset, it has the appearance of being stronger, like being successful, like having a car, even people who have children. That's only to maintain the appearance, the facade of strength, the facade of being successful. But these people are weak, broken, depressed, anxiety ridden. They don't have one leg to stand on. There's no foundation. There's no roots. They are broken from the ground up. And there's no amount of things, items, money, systems that will do anything for that. It has to be done in the coding by the individual. If the individual sees nothing to be done, then nothing will be changed. There will be no growth. There will be no healing. If there are no wounds to be seen, there is no damage to be healed. So you vest yourself into a world, the Western world, that has no wound. It's never been damaged. It's never failed. It's never lost a war. It's never committed any crimes. It's never wronged any people. It's all been for the betterment of humanity, of our evolution. And you can live in that lie for as long as that story, as long as that system stays afloat. So you are locked into this identity, whether it's the identity of being a dog parent, the LGBTQ, one of the alphabet, or just being a mother, a father. The title, this is what this is. It's a title, like a nobleman. You're the Duke of Jeffrey Jr. You're a representative of this Western culture. Again, all to distract you from that which predates any of these Western mindsets. Your people, your cultures, your relationships to the land, to the experience as a whole. You're distracted from you as a people to focus on you as a parent. If you struggle with just taking care of one or two people, what makes you think you'll be powerful enough to address the superpowers of the world? They did the same thing with the feminism and the civil rights movements. These are labels, identities put out there to pass off the facade of strength, of movement, growth, evolution, power. They're only meant to deflect from bigger issues. The identity of becoming a parent is to deflect from the issues that we have as a culture, as a people, across the world. In the long run, the system forces you to become just babysitters of their kids. Your kids are their kids. You are their kids. And you're just watching their kids until they are of age to get fucked by that system. You're raising them. You're grooming your kids for the predator that is this system. And since you have placed this system on this pedestal, you can do no wrong. Even when the damage is being done right in front of you. They can put it on for the world. Everybody can see what's going on. And nothing will change. This is why love is such a big part, a big tool in this program. You're romanticizing. If you romanticize something as deep as and as important as love, then you'll romanticize anything and everything that's out there. Because it's accepted. It's okay to do that. It's like lying to your kids about Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny and shit like that. This is what we are doing as adults with this system. This system is our Christmas. We're waking up every morning, running down the stairs, hoping for new presents, filled with that joy, only to be let down every single day. Because you love it. You love the control. This romanticism, this identity creation is meant to maintain the individualistic identity and the romanticizing of whatever particular control measure is being used. We can already understand the singular identity that locks you into an experience. So if you identify with this experience too much, more than the allness that is outside of this experience, beyond what you cherish, what you desire, all the pleasures of this world, if you can't see beyond the world, what you see yourself to be becomes the limitations of that world. So this happens with the individual. This happens with the ego. This happens with cultures. This is where we are right now with the Western society pushing its identity on the rest of the world. And it does that by claiming to be the highest intellect of so-called human evolution, from dinosaurs to monkeys to you. It's packaged in the movies, it's packaged in the books, in the education system, in the music. Anything that makes you fall in love, romanticize this experience, anything that makes you go deeper into those illusions is what is used to lock you into this reality. The identity that has been created to do that, this new world, these new people, it's so real, it's so important that it trumps truth. You literally cannot even speak about the indigenous people of America, the story that predates what the modern Western culture believes to be the only thing that you should be focusing on. The truth, the story that predates that is irrelevant. It's not even worth acknowledging as true. They will downplay, dismiss, and deflect from even engaging within entertaining that story. It has become something that is a threat to their illusions. This is why so much of the information that I share exposes those tricks and brings this information to the surface. So with this Western identity, what they have focused these illusions around are things like turning parenting into an identity. Western culture, lies, illusions have become an identity. People affiliate so much with this illusion, just as you affiliate with the illusion of this experience. They affiliate with the illusion so much they have lost themselves. They never know themselves. They never knew themselves. They never will come to know themselves because they are only interested in knowing what the system tells them to be. Their growth, their evolution, their awakening, their enlightenment comes from the system. Scientism has been deified. It becomes what you strive for. No different than religion, Christianity, becoming what you strive for. It's so powerful here that it controls what happens to you when you leave this experience. Even the Pope has dismissed the idea of heaven and hell. But it's so rich, it's so strong, it's so useful to not only the systems but those individuals that it remains to be the experience, the truth, the observation. So in the everyday reality, this character of being a parent, this character of being a new world representative, the character of being a so-called white person, the character of being a so-called black person, these are synthetic identities created by illusionists. And beyond the idea of blackness and whiteness, what's more powerful than any of that before any of that happens is this identity of being a parent, this putting that identity on a pedestal. That's all you have to strive for. Reproduce, die. Be born, reproduce, die. That's it. Don't ask any questions. Don't ruffle any feathers. Just do what everybody is told, and you'll be successful. The problem when you accept those realities as your truth, your reality, it comes with whatever is attached to it, like a parasite. And quite literally, since these programs are surrounded around depopulation, a lot of what we cherish and even need to survive will be used to be detrimental to our health. So this is why your food, your supermarkets are filled with poisons, toxins. Your water is filled with toxins. Your education is filled with toxic information designed to break you down, to lock you in to a system, to make you conform. Your beliefs within family, culture are all poisoned. Your ancestors, your elders are literally poisoned so that the stories, the wisdom cannot be passed down. Your wisdom comes from the church of scientism. Your truth comes from your politicians. And this is quite easy to see every day especially right now with all this presidential election stuff coming up. You can see how people empower themselves with these illusions, as if that individual, whoever it is that they're barking for, as if that person is going to do anything, as if that person has any power. Investing your attention, your time, your power in an individual like that is meant to destroy, to siphon, to steal your power. Nothing less. So they install these presidents into our lives, these politicians, these systems. These are parasites. They have attachments. They present it to you like it's a dog that you're saving. It's a stray we're picking up from the street. We're making it better. But how many parasites are inside of that dog? What kind of diseases are going to be passed on to you and your family? Even within the relationship that people have in the Western world with their pets, dogs in particular, they have gotten it to a point to where they have mainstreamed it so much that people are looking to take care of a dog instead of reproducing a human being. And they're making them equivalent. So now you have this false equivalence of reproduction. When that happens, when that's pushed into society as a thing, the raising of dogs and pets doesn't get raised to the raising of a child only in the minds of the people who are doing it, but the people who are raising children are starting to raise their children as somebody in this new world would raise or take care of a dog. And that's the intention in this Western world with pushing the domesticating of these animals. Like the education system, forced onto you. Is it for your education, your child's knowledge to expand? No, it's for conformity. It's for mind control. It's for stealing you away. What's going on with having pets in the house? Is it because people are so loving? No, it's because people are so weak and they need that idea of unconditional love around them. They need that constant reinforcement because the world is so empty, so dark, and people feel so alone. So they need these dogs to reassure them in this moment, to anchor them in some kind of love because the world is so devoid of anything. Especially love, especially affection, especially attention, especially anything unconditional. There's conditions with everything. So they put these dogs in your movies, in your music, with your celebrities, in your home, filled with parasites, filled with disease, crawling on the bed, crawling on the carpet, crawling on the floor, stepping in shit, stepping in their piss, bringing all of these diseases into your home, licking your face full of parasites, licking your baby's face, parasites ridden through their body, passing microscopically through your skin, through you kissing the dog, through your dog licking your baby, all this shit. And it's accepted. And what happens to that baby when they get sick? What happens to anybody? Things slow down over time. It affects your health. People become depressed, ridden with anxiety, having no sense of equilibrium at all to take care of themselves, let alone a child. Hell, let's just take care of a dog. That's much easier. They can take care of themselves anyway. All I have to do is provide food and water. That mentally destroys somebody who takes that framework and places it onto a child. Provide them food with water. Stick a tablet in their hands. Have a nice day. You're a parent. They're downgrading the idea of wisdom, intellect, relationship, family, parenting. It is destroying everything. The thing with this is that people cannot let go of what they have been conditioned to love. You telling somebody this information about their pets is no different than telling somebody about their relationship with cosmology, modern Western cosmology. They love it. They need it so much. They will do anything to protect it, even if it's at the expense of truth. It all comes down to population control. You think they're selling this idea, we love dogs so much. We're just so much better people. That's it. That's how they're selling it to you. Because this relationship with domesticated animals is not around the world. This is not how humans are. This is how a very specific group of people are in this world full of what they call humans. It's not normal. It's not normal in other cultures because it's not healthy and dangerous even. And then, like a true narcissist, when you bring this discussion up, they play the victim. Oh, well, there's so many strays. You fucking idiots made the strays. Now, since it's become a problem, you're trying to make it look like something that's beneficial for everybody, which is not true. And this is the same thing that happens with so many other stories. They tell you that they're doing something for the benefit of something, but it really is only to cover up something more fucked up that was actually caused by that system. And now they want you to focus your attention on how good they are in the aftermath of what they fucked up, instead of realizing that they are the reason that this situation was so fucked up in the first place. They caused the problem, and in response to that problem, they created these money-making schemes to appear to fix those problems and only want you to pay attention to them fixing the problem, not causing the problems. And since people are so vested in that system, in the belief in how great it is, if you step out of line of how they want you to think, you now become an enemy of that state of mind. Because you going against that system represents you going against them. Because their belief in themselves, their idea of themselves, their identity, they relate so much with that world that a slight to the world is a slight to them. And since they are so much weaker than the world, they fight so much harder to protect those systems. Because the world doesn't have to defend itself. It's fine. It's running smoothly. It's the people who have to defend the world inside of themselves. And they need something to reflect upon in order to do that. This is why narcissists and these systems create these enemies. They create the enemies and they create the superheroes. Because if you don't fall in one of those two categories, you're easy to identify. If you don't support the programs that are sold to people as the end all be all, the best of the best, you are the problem. If you represent a mindset that exposes those systems, you also become a problem. So you can't talk about dogs. You can't talk about religion. You can't talk about politics. You can't talk about injustices. It really makes you think, do these individuals really think that their ancestors could just rape, pillage, plunder the whole world, destroy every nook and cranny of our culture, our people, and never be held accountable for that? They will never have to answer for the actions of their ancestors. Not like a child would respond to this and trying to place blame. This is not an argument. This is not a civil dispute between high school kids. Don't jump straight to emotion. This is not about whether you're responsible for what your ancestors did. No, this is about righting any wrong. As a child would come home saying that their laptop was stolen by another kid, is it not the responsibility of the parent to do something about that? To speak to the parents of that individual? Right now, we don't have the parents of the people who did these wrongdoings. We have the children of them who were supposed to be smarter than them, more advanced, more evolved. But you can't speak to them because they are so privileged in what this system has set up for them. They don't want to make one slight move towards anything that might challenge their power, their comfort, their ability to maintain power over you, their ability to maintain power over the world.